Hello everybody, I am Sean. Today I'm going to tell you which energy source to use in scenario number 2, where a family wants to generate electrical energy from their isolated cabin in northwestern BC. Their cabin can take advantage of the nearby geothermal energy source, hot spring, on a small scale. They're choosing between this option and the diesel-powered electrical generator, which, for the recommendation, I will definitely recommend the geothermal solution. Now, as if into the why, let me explain. We're gonna be introducing 5 factors for each energy source option. 5 factors for geothermal solutions, 5 options for diesel-powered electrical generator. And then I'm gonna walk you through why. I'm gonna walk you through the short term and long term, and then that's it. I'm gonna conclude it. Now, let me share my screen here. It's going to be narrow because my screen is kind of messed up. But okay, let's get into the point. With the geothermal, the first factor, we're gonna be looking at 5 factors. First, we're gonna be looking at, can the electricity continue to be supplied without stopping? Now, then how much does it cost to install or maintain? Number 3, is it eco-friendly without polluting the environment? Basically, is it eco-friendly? Fourth, is there any noise pollution or dust? 5, is it far away from where electricity is produced? Now, when it comes to geothermal solution, the first factor, the score is out of 10 because geoenergy is very reliable. It's basically using heat where Mother Earth is producing heat at its core, and it's continuously produced by decay of radioactive elements in thin earth, which is the elements which is unstable, which is producing heat, is getting stable. That's radioactive. Well, at least I think that's what it is. Hence that it has the ability to supply energy without being stopped, which is why it got a score of 10. And the first factor. Now, second factor, how much does it cost to install or maintain? Now, this is a very tricky one for geothermal solution because the initial cost is really high. With all the installation and then the drilling, everything to get the heat and then get the electrical energy running, the initial cost is really high. However, when a system is up and running, it's good for the long run. You won't find yourself fixing these issues, and then as a family, you don't want to go and fix it every single one of a while. You want it to run it smoothly and stably, and reliability is key to a family in an isolated cabin. But the initial cost is very high. That's why I gave it a 5 in this regard. Now, it said eco-friendly. Geothermal energy does not involve any form of combustion, which means no, it doesn't. For example, fossil fuel. Fossil fuel uses combustion to produce its energy, but in this case, geothermal does not, which means it is very, very eco-friendly. It doesn't produce a lot of greenhouse gases, which is some of the cost of warming up the earth today. And then geothermal is basically within the earth, so there's no really any polluting happening. Now, that's why I gave it a score of 10, because it is really, really eco-friendly. Now, the fourth, is there any noise pollution? Geothermal energy operates like the freezer or refrigerator in your home. Its operation is very quiet. Well, but there is still some noise, but you won't not have angry neighbors around you. But however, that is not really a point in this scenario, because to this scenario, the family is isolated. So I don't really give much credit to this factor, but it's there. If noise matter to this family, that is a pro. Now the final one, is it far away from where electricity is being produced? This is one of the disadvantage for geothermal solution, because in some cases geothermal is like partially built underground, which can have which the end user could have hard time to getting access of it, which can make things harder to maintain or repair if anything does go wrong. However, as mentioned previously, the geothermal is pretty reliable and doesn't have much problems. And geothermal energy source isn't known for having issues. But however, keep in mind, if there is an issue, it's pretty far away, so that's why, considering this factor, I gave it a 3. Now, this brings the total to 11, 10, 21, 30, 31, 36 score out of 50. If my math is correct, that is 36 score of 36. Now, energy source option 2, the diesel power generator. For the first factor, the most important factor, can the electricity be continued? Supply can be continued without stopping. Now, diesel power generator is not well known for its stable electricity producing abilities. It's more known for like a backup power in hospitals, data centers, and then some other places which requires backup energy when a city or a place experiences blackout, which I gave it a score of 5 because it's not really well known for its stable producing abilities. Now, on to the next one. How much does it cost to install or maintain? Diesel generators are not really expensive to install, and they're quite easy to get. But in this scenario, in the isolated cabinet, which is it's hard to compare because it might not be easy to get with that, and second, it has a lot of problems which, depending on the user, they might have the technical abilities to fix or not be able to fix it. But it's pretty cost effective to install and then pretty easy to get, but regular maintenance is needed if the end user wanted to last long. But that doesn't mean it won't have problems. Just keep in mind, because they're in an isolated cabin. And third, is it eco-friendly without polluting the environment? I gave it a score of 5 because when being compared to others, combustion energy source diesel powered is generally is considered quite eco-friendly, but still it still uses combustion, which means it still pollutes the environment to a certain degree. Now, fourth, is there any noise pollution? No, there is noise pollution in diesel power generator. It vibrates a lot since it has to generate. It's using physical thingies to generate the power to convert the diesel fuel into electricity. So it does operate with a noise. You wouldn't want any neighbors in this case, but in this scenario, the family is in an isolated cabin, so I would then consider this a very bad thing. But if the family consider noise a lot, this is a thing to look out for. Now, finally, is it far away from electricity which is being produced? Now, diesel powered electricity generator is really portable. It can be bulky and small at the same time. Not at the same time, but you can choose the size of the thing, and then the size can vary basically. And it can be in general. The end user has pretty good access to the diesel generator, so I gave it a score of 8, and that brings a score down to 16 plus 10, 26, 29, which compared to the geothermal solution, 36, which I definitely that's why I recommend geothermal solution. It's superior than the diesel powered, especially in this scenario with the isolated cabin, where the family is already close to the hot spring, and it's eco-friendly, and it doesn't need a lot of maintenance, which is a good thing for a family, which because you don't want to go to the source every once then, but you want to check it. But in the other hand, you'll have a much harder time when it comes to if it actually has a problem. Now, now that I explained why geothermal is the best and why the diesel power is not the best, with these factors considered, it comes to the long-term and short-term advantage and disadvantage of the effects of the short-term and long-term. Now, for geothermal energy, some of the short-term effects are the initial cost and the process. The time to get it up and running is long for geothermal. According to a website, it can cost around 2 to 3 weeks just for like designing and permitting, and then drilling can take another 3 to 5 days, according to EnergySmartAlternative.com. That is a thing, so just keep that in mind. That's some of the short-term effects that a geothermal solution has: the initial cost and the process. However, some of the long-term benefits of effects of the geothermal energy source, that is that it doesn't require much maintenance, therefore it doesn't cost that much in the long run. It's also very reliable, as into this scenario, reliable is key. And yeah, reliable is key. But however, for the diesel generator, some of the short-term effects are that it's easy to get up and running, and easy to set up. For that being said, I don't think a family in an isolated cabin should rely on short term. I think for a family in this scenario, they should rely on the long term instead of the short term. So it kind of outweighs the. I think in this scenario, the long term outweighs the short term. With everything considered, the cost for the environment, for maintenance, and then for the stabilized thing, how stable it is, which I think geothermal energy solution is superior. Now, in conclusion, since my audience, my scenario, the family is already near a geothermal capable place, a hot spring, and for a family, reliability is key. A family wouldn't want to go and fix issues all the time, which might happen with the diesel generator. So for this family, I will definitely recommend the geothermal energy solution. It is more reliable, better in the long run, and also it's eco-friendly. Now here's all the citation, and that's it for me. Yep, thank you for listening. Bye.